Everybody, my name is Andres. Welcome to my channel. Climatecation is a channel I open to be more closer to you guys because my personal Instagram based on my job got too much already, and people always asking me about climatecation. It's not a word in the dictionary, you're not going to find it. It's the same like you say vocation, climatecation. This is my first video, and I'm going to share my life with you, how to live a social conscious life, and where to buy, what to wear, how to save from that. And today we going to go to Governor Island. Is a place 12 for the summer, I think. 12 weeks. The government is open it to the public. You can go, got picnic, birthday party, and also they have a lot of houses there where people expose either about sustainability, climate, and a lot of good stuff. We have to take the train. Let's go. And if you're in New York, you want to go, and the train to reach to Governor Island is the 4, the 5, or the 1. And we have to take the train now. Let's go. We just arrived at the island, and the beautiful thing about the island, behind me, you can see all the beautiful monuments in New York. I can see the Statue of Liberty. Okay, let's see everything else the island have to offer. It's a big boat. You can see this is the boat we came from. This is the boat. Let's walk with me. You can come in, got your little picnic, visit with your family, and watch a lot of activities because they have some residents for the summer only. And today we're going to visit House of Solutions. As the social ambassador, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for any group who help either in social issues or green issues. And that's where we're going. Let's go. One of the coolest things you can do on the island, you can also do your birthday party on it, and you can see that family is preparing a birthday party. They look like delicious. And yes, now I'm in front of the sister's house, and they have a club. Let's see exactly how that's happened. All that beautiful residents in Governor Island. One of the beautiful places I found in Governor Island is about the Billion Oyster Project. I don't know nothing about it. I'm clueless. Remember I said we on it together. Today is a learning day. What they do in Governor Island. And we're going to have a friend who's going to explain to us about the project.
Hi, so the Billion Oyster Project is a shellfish restoration organization based on Governor's Island. Our goal is to restore oysters in New York Harbor, specifically 1 billion oysters by the year 2035.
How that happened? Can you just give them a demonstration?
Well, I can't demonstrate it right now because it's really a year-long process.
Okay.
But the first step is we collect oyster shells from restaurants. We have a lot of partner restaurants around the city. So if you've had an oyster in the past, couple of years, it may be in our harbor now. So we collect the oyster shells from the harbor. We have them sit outside and cure. That's the process, just exposing the oyster shells to the elements so that they can get rid of any of the organic matter that might be on there, and we'll only have the shell. After that, we put the shell in our aquaculture lab, and we have it sit in a tank full of the water that has oyster larvae. Oyster larvae are the little tiny baby oysters. During the first 2 to 4 weeks of their life, oysters will swim around and look for the materials that an oyster shell is made out of, including calcium bicarbonate. Then you'll see, let me get a better one actually, one that has a better looking example. New oysters will form on this bigger shell. So this is the shell we got from the restaurant, but then these are the oysters that we grew on our own, and they grew onto the oyster shell. After these sit in our tanks and around our docks on Governor's Island, we'll put them out in the water, and they'll go to research cages that middle schoolers might adopt. They might go to reef sites all around the harbor.
What the purpose of doing it?
So the reason why we do this is for three main ecological services that oysters perform. So oysters, they are filter feeders, so they clean out the water of a lot of the algae and nitrate compounds and things like that. But also, as a consequence of cleaning the water, they also attract other species, so they increase biodiversity. And not only do they increase biodiversity by having the water being clean, they increase the biodiversity by providing a habitat. Because oysters, when they grow in a big clump like this, and they'll just go bigger, 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 and so on and so forth. So these oysters, they'll provide a home, much like a tree provides a home for bugs and birds and other things like that. Oysters provide homes for a lot of other sea creatures, which increases biodiversity. And finally, the third reason is that they hold the shoreline together. So if you think about Superstorm Sandy a couple of years ago, the majority of flooding wasn't from raining, but it was from the tidal surge. Now, if we would have a sort of oyster beds lining the harbor like they used to in the past, then the oyster beds would absorb some of the wave energy, and the tidal surges would be much smaller by the time they reach our shorelines. And we'd have more of our shoreline and less flooding.
And how somebody can involve on that project, and when they involve, what's the benefit of it?
So we are a pretty small organization as far as restoring 1 billion oysters goes. We rely a lot on volunteer help. So if you go on the Billion Oyster Project website, bop.nyc, you can click on our volunteer tab, and that will bring you to a calendar of dates that we're having public volunteering, where you can come and help us build the structures we put our oysters in. Or alternatively, if you live near the water, or if you happen to be a a middle school or even elementary or high school educator, you can adopt an oyster research station. So this over here, and this is obviously just a model, but the oyster research station is a cage you can put down in the water, and you can track how oysters are growing, if they're surviving, if they're having spawns during the summer, and that'll help us determine if the area is a good spot for us to bring more oysters in the future.
Yes, they have a benefit of it. I see over there, half dozen of oysters.
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay. So I'm good for that. The eating part, that's what I wanted to know.
So if you want to help out in that way too, we have a membership program. You subscribe, I don't remember the yearly fee, but it's a yearly subscription. And with that, you get a tour of Billion Oyster Project and all of our facilities on Governor's Island. And you also get, I believe, 5 vouchers for half a dozen oysters at our partner restaurants. So you can help out and get a nice bite to eat too.
Welcome to Swale NYC. Swale is a project that was conceived in 2016 by an artist, Mary Mattingly, here in New York. It's a floating food forest atop a barge that travels on New York's waterways and invites visitors to come on board and harvest any of the food and take it home for free. So the project forces people to think about their relationship to public water and land, and also encouraging good relationships with these public spaces and common spaces.
Okay.
So yeah, we run out of this house, but also work with a lot of different organizations, the New York Urban Soils Institute. Who else do we work with? What other organizations are here? And there's also Project Soils.
Okay, that's been, can you explain about all this?
All the soils.
Yes.
So this soils were all collected in one of the largest soil surveys in the United States. New York was one of the cities they focused on. And so all of these were collected and are analyzed to understand the soil components and how different areas of New York, how their soil is doing. And so this was an artist, Margaret Boozer, created this installation here that allows you to see the horizon of the soil and the different makeups. Yeah.
What the benefit of it for the community?
Yeah. So being able to access this information is very important when thinking about how we can be socially engaged and think of our space as a common space and how we're all working to help create lively soil that can produce sustainable and regenerative ecosystems. And so being able to see this and have access to this information is really important if we want to change policies and change how New York, but also broader cities deal with our soil and create systems to help it, support it.
This is only for New York City, or do you think it is something all the city and the United States supposed to do?
So the survey was also done in Detroit and in Los Angeles, but it's definitely something that would be helpful and should be done in all cities.
What the message you got for people? Yeah, whoever listen to you, what the best you can tell them to inform themselves or based on where they live, because I say Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, not take all the boroughs right there. Mm-hmm. What will be the best advice you can tell somebody and how they can join the New York City soil?
Yeah, I think definitely this information allows people to just think about their personal relationship to soil and environment and how they understand how important soil is and what its role is in our daily lives, because it can be difficult to understand. So having this visual representation allows for that, and also allows you to think about, in your capacity and wherever you come from, your personal relationship and how you can manifest that in whatever way you think.
Was awarded a 3-year permit. So we can, for the next 3 years, present public art and gallery style art for the public. This allows our small organization to grow and to evolve. We have other programming that we're going to do in the building. Right now, it's not completed, but the kitchen and the dining room will be a tasting room where we will have chefs coming in starting in July, offering lectures, small plates, teas, juices to complement our exhibitions. We're also going to have live dance from India. We're also in the fall and September having a jazz residency, and then topping it off in October, a radio drama fest. So stories will be told, because our second exhibition, the focus is on Africa, the Caribbean, and the Americas. So that's going to be real funky. So it allows us to grow and offer the public a lot more, and we hope that they will enjoy it.
today is a wrap. Thank you for being there with me in the Staten Island. And I think you learned. As you can see, we had a part 1 and part 2. And that's the way we can share with a lot of people what is good about New York. And one of the best way when you to visit in the summer, don't forget to visit Governor Island. And don't forget to subscribe, share, and like, and ask any question you want.